that we're doing live. I think that we are now.
Disasters.
Essentially, cities get more bigger and more powerful. Right. Facebook shows that we're live.
I'll just over here for a sec. Religion.
Hi everyone, I'm Tavis at the Game Crafter. This is Carl. What we're doing is, this year at Protospiel Madison, I had some rental gear to live stream CrafterCon, and so I thought, dude, we're at Protospiel Madison. We have lots of cool games around, a couple hundred of our friends, and so I'm setting up my gear here, and we're just going to run a consistent live stream, and I'm just going to grab random game designers off of the street.
And I am a random game designer.
And he's pretty random, so what we're going to do is Carl's going to start out and be our guinea pig, and we're just going to keep bringing in new designers, and they can tell you about the games that they're working on. In this case, this game is on a crowd sale, so it's perfect time. If you think it's cool, you could actually go to the Game Crafter and pick it up.
Yep, that's right.
And you've already had a bunch of sales, so.
Yep.
So yeah, he's going to go ahead and give you the intro, and I'm going to work the camera and stuff.
So, as Tavis said, my name's Carl Kletzky. I designed Telepathic, which is a cooperative game of wordless communication. It is a two-player co-op game that is designed for two people to play together. So I'm going to show you how these components work and give you an idea of how to play the game. So, the object of the game is you've got this grid of 16 tiles, and each of you has a win condition. Like if you're the shape player, then you're trying to get 3 circles in a row. If you're the color player right now, you're trying to get 3 green tiles in a row. But the problem is, neither one of you knows what the other player's win condition is. So you're trying to arrange these so you have something like this, but you're not allowed to talk to each other.
Yes, correct.
At the same time, while you're moving the grid around and arranging things, you have to be careful to avoid each other's lose conditions. And again, you only know your lose condition, you don't know your partner's lose condition. So if we ever move the grid like this, we have both just lost the game because the stars is the shape player's lose condition. So we also have the lose condition of purple for the color player. So the way that you actually communicate with each other, because you're not allowed to talk, you're not allowed to point or gesture, is by passing these cards around. So on your turn, you're going to take one of these cards, hand it to your partner, and they have to figure out, what did you want me to do with that card? So this lets me rotate 4 cards in one of the quadrants, here, 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 or here. And so as your partner, I might decide, okay, I'm trying to get, say it was like this. I'm trying to get circles lined up, so I will rotate it like this. Great, I've got my win condition in place. After that card has been played, it goes in the discard pile, we draw a new card to replace it, and we're going to keep doing that, and we have to ultimately get to the point where somebody's willing to make the announcement, and someone's willing to say, I know what your win condition is, and I'm ready to say what it is. So the way that works is, instead of handing your partner a card, you're going to say, your win condition is circles. If you're wrong, game's over, you lost. If you're right, they have to respond by saying, your win condition is green. That would be a problem right now because green isn't lined up, so you would have lost. But if your win condition, if win conditions are both met at the same time, so we have 3 circles, we don't have 3 stars because then we would have lost, and we have 3 green tiles, you announce each other's win conditions correctly, you win. That's the game. It plays in 15 minutes, half an hour. There's generally some time after the game is over, during which people will take time describing, why did you do this? Or I did this because, and I was trying to explain to you this. So there's a little deconstruction after the game. It's part of what makes the game fun, and how I knew we were on the right track, because people will keep talking about what happened for a long time after the game is over. And another thing that we've noticed is it's a very simple, elegant design visually, and you're playing a game and people they walk by and they just like, what's going on here? There's two people staring at each other, not saying anything, and they'll move things around, and it's like, and after the game's over, it's like, that looks really cool. Can I try it? So it's like, okay, sure. I will make this available to as many people who want to play it. So that's why it's on sale right now. That's why we're doing a crowd sale with the Game Crafter, and I hope you get a chance to try it out and find out if you're telepathic.
All right.
I was talking really fast.
We're still live, man. That's all right.
Okay.
You're a good guinea pig.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good. I can switch between both views. So now my next thing will be to find another designer that wants to do a quick little demo.
Yes, there are many people who would like to do demos here.
Until you start putting influence and commerce out, this is your capacity right now. So once you start,
So there's also variants of this game. It's designed primarily for 2 players. There's variants to play 2 versus 2 if you want to do something competitive. There's a 3-player variant that I like, where one player is giving both of the other players their moves and doesn't actually know what any of the conditions are. That's kind of fun. It's a brain bender. I like it. A lot of people told me, hey, when can I buy this? So the answer is today. Today's a really good day to buy it. You got about 10 more days while it's on sale, so I want to encourage that. All right, I am going to get out of the way and let Tavis find somebody else. Yes, this is the box. Actually, hold on, it's upside down. And my friend Brian Lee did the illustrations for this. He did a great job. I'm really grateful to him for that. I learned a lot about graphic design by designing the box and putting that all together. So that was.
There's a lot more than people think.
Yeah, setting up the shop page and learning to make demo videos. That was fun. Got some experience with that.
Learning to make videos.
Yep. So.
Well, thank you, sir. I might have to make an adjustment to this live feed anyway, so I might have to take it down for a hot minute.
Get this out of your way. Oh, and you will probably want this microphone back.
Take the mic with you? I always do that too.
Okay, it seems to
Alicia Volkman, one of the Game Crafter's new employees, by the way, in the support team. She's awesome. She also created this giant backdrop that you can't see, which is really cool, for the Game Crafter. She has a game, and I'm going to mess up the name of it again. Here, let me mic you up. One moment. And then And this one you can probably clip on your lens.
Establish a guild was one, but that's kind of like we had free access to the gold structure. Establish a guild automatically.
All right.
Oh,
Just
perfect.
so you know where you can set up on the table, you can kind of see your frame.
Oh, perfect. It's right out here. So here's the name. It's easier for people to see it.
Yep.
Duan Wu. Can you hear me okay?
Duan Wu. Yep, I can hear you okay.
Perfect. All right, so Duan Wu, you all work for a kite manufacturing company. You've been commissioned to make kites for the Dragon Boat Festival. Players get to pick these really cool dragon tiles. And this is going to be the head of your kite. And then there's all these kites. And the way the game works is you're going to have stacks of tiles, and you're going to be drafting them throughout the game.
Another person, you increase your population. So essentially, I said brown is how you get people. You get more people. Plus, you're also going to get more people.
There we go.
It's done. You're going to look at your however many people you have in your B. You're going to get one more. So your A is going to be.
And then on your turn,
plus one. You're going to get.
you're going to be with your tile. Make sure everybody can see it. You're going to be selecting tiles as I drop everything that are going to be matching these boat cards. And these are the goals that everybody's going to be going for.
So this is level 1.
And there's 3 of them. So you're going to have 3 out on the field for everybody to see.
Religion is the more you'll gain XP.
And then everybody also gets 1 hidden goal that no one else gets to know about, that they're going to be going for. So then as you go through, you're going to be selecting tiles, and they're going to keep filling in, and you keep everybody else's tiles to make sure that you're not feeding them tiles that they might need. Because you want the best kite. You want to be the kite that gets flown on the day of the boat race. When you flip over your dragon tile, there's a score pad on the back for endgame scoring. And best kite wins. It's pretty simple. It's a nice little light game. And that's Duan Wu. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to learn. And it's been doing pretty good here. Getting a lot of good reviews, a lot of great help. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All good?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for letting me do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to grab another designer. I'll be right back. All right, so I have Jay Little here, and he's setting up his game. Thanks for being patient. Like I said, I'm just doing this off the cuff here because I have the equipment and there's a lot of cool games here. Figured.
Off the cuff is what Protospiel's all about.
I mean, it is. That's true. We're not scared to just go with a random idea.
We call it innovation.
Yeah. The chaos of a small business is what large companies, that's all they want. They want to be agile, right? And then they become this big business. A small business wants to become a big business. They always want what the other has. Sounds familiar.
I guess being always live is kind of the idea of live streaming. That's what I hear. Coming across okay?
It's queuing up.
The important thing is you got my earring.
There you go.
I'm on the earring side.
Yeah, I set this up specifically for that.
And I appreciate that.
All right,
The industry runs on favors.
I hear your audio loud and clear.
All right.
You're good to go. Right now it's pointing. Right now you're on camera. This one.
Hi, everybody. All right, so I'm going to talk about my game Under Pressure, which is a game about a research vessel teetering on the edge of the Mariana Trench. Oh no, an earthquake sending you down, tumbling into the depths of the ocean. And on this research vessel are 4 different characters: a scientist, engineer, medic, and operator, who are working together to try to survive until rescue operations arrives. However, they also have their own personal goals that they're trying to achieve, which can be at cross purposes. As you would expect in this sort of setup, everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And we've got compartments that are starting to be crushed under the great pressure. Water is flooding into the area. We're starting to run out of oxygen, and things just keep on going worse and worse as we go. And each round begins by players taking 2 disaster cards from the deck. Disaster cards have both something that goes wrong during the game, such as an area floods and takes on water. In this case, the med bay would take on water, so we'd place a little water token there. Or a crack appears in operation, showing that the structural integrity is starting to wear away. So operations is yellow, so a crack would start to appear there as this starts to get crushed. So everybody's going to get dealt 2 of these cards at the beginning, and everyone then would choose one of these cards to contribute to a group event pile, and the other card stays in front of them. So you would end up with 4 total event cards, then you take 1 from the top of the deck, so you're never quite sure who contributed which card. Then, 1 card at a time, you resolve them. The med bay begins to flood. Engineer begins to flood. Oh no, there's a science emergency. People have to spend resources. And there are special resources tied to each of the different characters based on their area of expertise. So if once we had started to accumulate resources, we'd have to pay some of those out. We're starting to lose oxygen, and we only have a limited oxygen supply. A crack appears in the med bay. So things just keep on getting worse and worse. However, we're also able to run around this frantically as we're trying to correct things, repair, and survive long enough for rescue. So whichever card we didn't set aside for the disaster will reveal and move to that corresponding location. And this is all done in real time. So since this operator here revealed the science one, they would move into the science lab. The medic revealed medic, so they're going to stay in the med bay. The yellow scientist revealed ops, so they're actually moving over here. The engineer also revealed ops. Oh, these two people are in the same location. Fortunately, there's room for both of them because this is how many spaces there are. But as areas start to flood and there are fewer and fewer spaces, fewer people can safely operate there. For example, if you're ever forced to work in an area that's flooded, you're going to lose stamina. And if a player loses all 4 of their stamina, they die and they're out of the game. Oxygen keeps on getting vented out into the ocean. If we lose too much oxygen, everybody loses stamina. If we start to lose so much oxygen that we hit the next threshold, then another disaster gets added to the event deck at the beginning, and 6 disasters get revealed instead of only 5. So over the course of the game, areas are going to start cracking, and if you want to perform action, so we're going around here doing the best that we can to manage this disaster. And each one of these modules has a special ability associated with it. The first thing that you can do for free is to take a colored cube of that type. So if I'm in the science lab, because that's blue, I could take a blue token and put it next to my sheet. Over here, the scientist would take an orange engineering token, put it by their sheet, and so on. But each section also has a special ability that you can perform. In the science lab, you can make a check to roll to draw an action card. To make a skill check, you roll the 6-sided die, which has 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as a critical success and an automatic failure, which also causes you to lose stamina. And you have to roll higher than the amount of damage there. So performing an action in medbay right now would require a 4 or higher because there's already 3 damage. So fortunately, everybody has skills. The medic is best suited for the medbay, and they've got 3 points, as we see by the 3 green circles there by their medical skill. So when they roll a skill check, 1 plus 3, they roll a 4, they roll just what they needed to be able to succeed. So everything has a special action. Here you can take an action card which may allow you to do something special like increase or decrease oxygen, increase or decrease water volume. In engineering, you can recover and replenish the oxygen source. In the med bay, you can recover stamina. And in the operations center, you can shift water as it's coming in. So if you don't want engineering to be flooded, you could shunt it over into the ops center, but then it's harder to be able to fill in ops. So it's basically that there are too many things going wrong at the same time. There are too many disasters for you to all cover. So can you manage long enough? However, since everybody also has a special goal, for example, some people, this person wants to sabotage the pneumatic systems that operate the vessel. And they need to end the game with 3 engineering cubes, which are orange, and 1 science cube, which is blue. So if at the end of the game, if we're able to survive for 10 rounds and they end up with that many cubes, they would score this goal, which is worth 1 point. Somebody else, though, for example, may want ops to flood. So they may actually want 4 water to appear in ops. And at the end of the game, if ops is flooded, they would score a point for that. The main goal for everybody is to survive, and surviving earns you 1 point plus 1 point for every stamina you have left. Every other goal that you've achieved is worth 1 point. So, theoretically, you could win the game even after you've died if you've accomplished enough of your goals, which is particularly dastardly because one of the goals that one of the players wants is to, for example, destroy somebody else's workstation to keep their partner alive. Everybody's got a particular partner that they work with, or even to kill one of the other members of the crew. So it's cooperative up to the point that it isn't cooperative anymore. You do need to work together long enough that you can at least maintain some semblance of stability, but at some point, if you want to pursue your own goals and actually accomplish these objectives, you have to start looking out for number 1 in either hoarding resources that might be spent to resolve disasters together, or to be able to fulfill your goals, or to forget performing action. So if somebody else is wounded, and you could heal them in the med bay, you might decide, you know what, I actually want one of these crew members to die so that I can fulfill an objective, so sorry, Bob, I'm not going to heal you this turn. And this keeps on going until either everybody in the research vessel has died, or you've reached 10 rounds, at which point everybody reveals their goals, and then you determine who won. So in true Protospiel fashion, this was handcrafted and lovingly put together. Quality components from the game craft are put on display here. Actually, I came up with the idea while I was driving into work on Wednesday morning, drew all of this over lunch on Wednesday, and then wrote all of the cards Thursday in between some of the speakers at CrafterCon. And then Friday morning I was ready to reveal this, and you can see all the different play tests here. Great feedback from all the people here at Protospiel. Every one of these scratched out lines is actually an improvement that's been made by all the great playtesters and designers here. But that's what I love so much about Protospiel, is it really is just bring your idea. If you've got a great idea, it does not matter what it looks like. Somebody yesterday said that Protospiel means never having to say you're sorry for your prototype, which is absolutely fantastic. You can have an idea, as long as it's readable and you can explain it, you can play it. And I love it because usually I try to trick out my prototypes through the Game Crafter, and I've got enough time to do that. But here I literally had the idea the day before the event, but grabbing some components that I had on hand and then other components that Game Crafter has here on their prototype table, putting this together, the fantastic people here engaged with it, sat down, and we were able to have a great time. So yeah, that is Under Pressure, and I'm really looking forward to being able to take that next step, maybe use the component studio and start to build some components here based on the feedback that I got here and get it to that next stage where I can polish it, make it look a little bit nicer for that next stage of presentation. But right now, Under Pressure, right now you are underwater, out of air, out of time. Can you survive being under pressure?
This is going to be damage or
Still live.
Well, of course we're still live. That's what streaming is all about. I get that.
We've got another designer that's going to show you their game here shortly. Hang in there, just about a minute. All right, I have Matthew Wyatt here with what looks to be a Minton contest entry. Is this
I don't know if it'll be done in time for the contest.
Okay. Here, let me mic you up, and then we'll.
I'll just go on my t-shirt.
Usually, I try to go like on my shirt.
Yeah, or like a button or something. Oh, brilliant.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Sweet.
So you are live on this camera right now.
Cool. Hi.
Let me just make sure the audio's good.
And am I in the play surface here? Can't tell what's in or out. Sweet. Turn components this way is up.
You can move it a little bit up.
Sure.
Fine.
Sweet.
So you are live on this camera right now.
Cool. Hi.
Let me just make sure the audio's good.
And am I in the play surface here? Can't tell what's in or out. Sweet. Turn components this way is up.
You can move it a little bit up. Follow the camera.
I appreciate that. So this is Schrodinger's Cat. It's a mint tin game. I told myself I wasn't going to do an entry unless I got an idea I liked. Then I got an idea I liked. So in Schrodinger's Cat, it is 1935, and a paper has just been published that Schrodinger has decided to try to dispel through a thought experiment where a cat is placed in a container with poison and is supposedly dead or alive, which he thinks is absurd. And so in this game, the game is set up by taking this cute little cat that is either dead or alive. I suppose I can come here for that. It's probably better, right? This little cat, if you want to switch, brilliant. That's either alive or dead. Placing it in the tin, players shake it, pass it around, so the state is unknown. At that point, it becomes a social deduction game. Most of us are physicists attempting to guess the correct state of the cat. There are also two lab techs, one that wants to help you figure out the state of the cat and one that wants to deceive you. There is a host that helps kind of keep things moving, and then Schrodinger, if he's the one to do the reveal, rather than opening it to tell you whether or not the cat was alive or dead, he will simply pick it up and shake it, and you'll never know. So people use influence in order to decide who gets to open it, and they also vote based on their opinion of whether the cat is alive or dead. It's an incredibly short social deduction game, something you could play while waiting for dinner, or so it's that's Schrodinger's Cat, Trinity Craft Games. And we'll see if it gets in time or not. Because this is final art. We're basically there, so no, it's not even close. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. All right.
Sorry. Oh, plug our website.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we published our first title last fall at trinitycraft.com, and we'll have a few more coming out in the near future, and hopefully this will be among them. I imagine this will be on the Game Crafter directly. So, yep, that's us. And please follow us on social media. We've been bad at that and want to be better. So, yeah, thanks so much.
Good deal. You got a game you want to
And
talk
come to
about?
Protospiel. It's awesome.
I do and I don't.
We don't have to be fancy.
This is not fancy by any stretch.
We're just sitting down telling people about games.
It's good stuff.
To get awareness in the indie space.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on.
What's that?
Have fun.
All right. I might have you just
here's your mic. I usually tell people just to put it on there. Let me mic you up.
All right.
Usually just try to put it.
Very
Should be
good.
good. You can clip that on your pocket or put it in your hoodie. That's
All
what I
right.
do.
All right. Let me just.
See yourself here.
Yep.
Currently on that camera, and we're live, so you can start anytime.
All right. So this is.
Introduce yourself and your game.
All right. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna like pour it out first. And when you say live, you don't mean like live.
It's on Facebook and YouTube and Gamecrafter, Twitter right now.
Okay, but I mean like as we speak.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Let me give me a second to set things up a little bit.
No problem. So how'd you come up with the idea for this?
Well, it mostly came from my fascination with newspaper comics when I was a kid. My dad had a little syndicated comic, and but also I just loved the way they used language, and how they would get around the censors by they would, the swearing and the frustration in comics would be shown in these little like Rolex symbols, and that's how they do it in cartoons too. But yeah, so I just love the symbols, and so I decided to make a game that was based on matching the symbols to cards.
Couple dice in your game, I see.
Yeah, there's a few.
Showing them the play service right now.
Oh, okay.
We've got a lot of quarters that go in the jar.
That's right. All right, so this game is sort of a simultaneous dice rolling game. It's
What's your name, by the way?
Oh, my name is Andy Malone. Oh, I'm looking right there. My name is Andy Malone. I am a designer from Detroit, Michigan. And I've been working on this game called Swear Jar. It used to be called Great Googa Mooga in a past life, but that was something my dad used to say instead of swearing, so they sort of fit. But Swear Jar is a little more descriptive, a little more thematic. But anyway, what you do is you have up to 4 players. You place 3 cards on the table. There's always one less than the players playing, and then everyone simultaneously rolls their dice to match up to the symbols on the card. And once they match up the symbol, they take the card away, and everything's verified. I didn't actually do it this time. And then the play continues until all the cards are claimed. And the catch is, on the back of the card, there's on the back of the card, there's an affliction or a consequence to your action. So it's sort of like it's celebrating the frustration and anger, but there's also a consequence to having that negativity. So if you claim the card, you get to put a coin in the swear jar, and every player has 10 coins, and they place, and when they place them all in the swear jar, they're the winner. And the person who didn't get the claim also gets a pity die, which is basically an extra wild card that they can use in the next turn. And they also don't get the consequence on the back. So the consequences sort of add up, so that you end up having to do multiple things at the same time, and that's kind of a tiebreaker, or not a tiebreaker, but a catch-up tool. But anyway, so that's the game. It's one of those like really loud, annoying party games, and a lot of people seem to have fun with it. So I'm happy the way it's going right now.
Awesome. How long have you been working on it?
In one form or another, about I'd say about 3 or 4 years. Yeah. So, and it's one of those games that I work on in between other things, and it seems to be the one that people want me to bring places. So it's a nice, and it's also a great game for all skill levels, because there's not much. The rules are very simple. It's all on one sheet, so it's very
Have you got some good feedback from Protospiel playtesters on it?
Oh yeah, some great feedback.
Some new stuff you might be able to work into it, or?
Yeah, actually, this game was funny because a while ago I played it at Protospiel Chicago, and I changed the rules, and I thought I was making improvements to the rules, and I had a whole new set of everything, and it played horribly. It was just one of the worst play tests I ever had, and it turned out, and my daughter was just like, yeah, you shouldn't have never changed the rules, because she loved playing it the old way, and you know, if I would have listened to her, I would have done much better with it. But it basically set me back. But I had to learn my lesson, but yeah, Protospiel's been awesome for just getting feedback and also getting practical advice from people who know a lot more than I do about game design and about the process, the manufacturing process, and all that. But yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your game.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Yep. And this video and stuff, as soon as the live stream finishes, it'll just be out on GameCrafter's site. So if you want to see it, you'll be able to watch it that way.
Very cool. One of my least favorite things is watching myself on TV. So.
It's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, so sure you guys who are used to it are.
In this case, we're like, we got this equipment for CrafterCon, and I'm like, man, we should put it to use for Protospiel. Just show people some of the indie games that people are working on.
Well, it's all. I love. I always forget to bring my GoPro because I love these top-down views of playtests, and I never document things the way I should. But
yeah, I think we all get caught up in just going and stuff, and then once you get there, even I bring a lot of camera gear to stuff, and I don't bring it out just because it's I don't know, it's easier not to.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, you don't want to be too disruptive to people because they're, everybody's sort of in the zone, and you don't want to. I mean, that's one of the things I learned pretty early on, that I made a lot of good friends at Protospiels, but there's certain people I know not to mess with when they're playing the game. You just sort of. Yeah, exactly. Let them work it out, and then I'll talk to them afterwards. All right.
Who's my next victim? I gotta find some people.
Let's see who's ready.
I was gonna say, who do you know that have to
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna need that.
I always walk with them. And I will. Thank you. We're looking for our next designer. All right, so we've seen quite a few designers set up their games here. I'm actually going to pop on my phone and walk around, and it'll still be this feed, but I'm going to walk around and show you Protospiel Madison in action, I guess. So give me one moment. I'm going to switch over to the mobile camera, and we're going to walk around and look at some tables and some games. Okay, I moved over to the old iPhone here, and we're going to do some walking around. First thing I should show you is our snazzy new backdrop we got. This thing's going to be going to Board Game Geek Con in a month's time and several other shows that we do. We try to do something where like we can easily show the kind of stuff we make on demand, but also talk about the indie games and game pieces and upgrades and accessories that we have available as well. This number to me is insane. 2,000 game pieces is what we have. It's truthfully almost 2,200. But we just keep buying game pieces and parts because everyone just keeps needing more and more types of unique pieces. It's crazy. 10 years ago, I would have never thought we'd get to a number that high. So, I guess we'll start walking around.
You didn't roll, did you guys? No, I didn't roll. Oh, yeah, there. Oh, we got it. It's a quick game there. I'm just going to be 0% chance. It's got to be lower. I'm not going to roll. It's got to be above. It's got to be above. Oh, you got one single piece. Oh, I saw that. Yeah. That was great.
I see a Ben Moy.
He's got three balls on his thing.
I gotta have more.
Mitsubishi means 3 diamonds.
I gotta have more lenses. More lenses. Don't make fun of my iPhone.
So you don't play tier until my turn. So I still have to play tier even though you played over that, right? Yes, because the play tier is
actually, we had that peeled out, and I thought,
It's a pretty typical Protospiel table. Bits and components everywhere. Capital Campaign. Saw this one yesterday in some photos. Oh, I'm just talking to my mic. I took some pictures yesterday of it. I said it looked good.
he thinks there's a mic with him.
Oh yeah, Mike.
It's Mike. Bob's here too.
Okay.
Color of the cards really pops on the phone.
Yeah.
Looks good.
These are called mercenaries. These are essentially a very basic unit. They will be played in front of you, up to 5 lanes. Okay? And these 5 lanes are late.
Hey now. Let's take a look at this. Got some doors knocked down. I recognize those. Yeah, I'm the game crafter guy.
You are.
currently live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just doing a walk around.
We have a question for you when you're.
When I'm not live, I can answer it live. It's probably okay.
Okay.
Well, probably should go to my game if we're doing that.
Oh, okay. Is it a difficult question?
It might be.
Okay, I'll come back then.
That works.
That'll probably be easier.
So, let's just say I have played through all my cards.
That game has a whole bunch of castles. It's called Castlescape. Tons and tons and tons of castles. It's really cool looking.
Personality, and that belongs to your character.
It's video. I know I'm around a lot. What is this one called? Starship Explorers. This one's called Factions Battlegrounds.
Here's the challenge of inexperience.
Very pretty.
Is you have specialty stuff for each faction. So, like in the realm of magic, you have an ability. I'm going to do 6. It's incredible if you have 0.
If you run out, that's what I do whenever I get it. I run out my hand.
Alright, that's 0 less. You're on to me.
Which I kind of like, that's an advantage over the for every person escalation stuff, because then you might be pressuring Hannah to be like, look, 3 of us are already in escalation, you can't go into escalation 2, which is the going escalation.
Yeah, so,
Ready.
I give you a move. So knock that down, and I will knock it down 2 more and use my clan token to get the last one. So now it's down to 2, and I can do 1 damage to it. Awesome.
What you playing, Cassie?
I'm playing Stargazers by Danielle Reynolds.
Stargazers by Danielle Reynolds? Cool. That was a good plug. Nicely done.
I got
This.
I'm not very good at this game.
No, it looks like the type of game you would love.
I'm real. Oh yeah, I like the theme, but I'm like not good at it.
Ah, okay.
You can be bad at it.
I kind of feel like I would be the same way. Yours is really pretty.
We're getting there.
Yeah, look at this. Okay, that's good. And then I come over to Cassie's. And okay. That is a lot of rubber bands.
Like, yes. Did you get it? Oh, that's a start. Okay.
Carl, this game looks super cool. Whatever you're playing over here.
Yeah, this Seth's working on an expansion to the Reckoners, which is a great game that he already published. in the past.
That
and
looks
so
awesome.
Trying out some new characters and some new cards. For
So
them.
I assume this is all the original. This is all the original game.
Yeah, most of it.
I've
This
never-
is the
I've
deluxe
never played-
edition. That's why you've got like the metal cubes. This is all
Okay.
co-op.
Yeah,
This is like
beautiful.
a really pretty quick, up to 6-player co-op.
Wow, 6
Yeah.
co-op.
Yeah. So it's
Nice.
solid.
Good deal. You might recognize this person because they did our little live stream interview over there, right? Didn't you have a game we should mention?
It's called Telepathic.
Telepathic, yeah. I think you're doing a crowd sale, right?
It's like we're thinking the same thing.
You got to plug those indie game designers. You got to plug them. All right, let's go over here. Hopefully I didn't make you dizzy with that turn. So, we got.
Because like people are pulling at me like, you know. I like that once you're does limit the decision space, it does this for us. You know, I can like end up with, you know, if I have these, you know, 2 twos and a 4 on one board, right? Yes.
Prototypes at all levels. Hello.
You have like maybe 3, so you would have maybe only 3, 4 tools in the game. You'd have 4 tool tokens. You run out, people take tools from anywhere. They come out of that tool, they go back in.
Prototypes in all levels. Some more developed than the others, but you can always bring those to Protospiel, where you can take a raw idea and get it developed, get some feedback. Niles, what are you setting up here?
I got Junkyard Robots.
Junkyard robots?
Yeah.
Is there battle bots?
No.
There's no battling?
No. It's a Euro game.
Tell me about your game. Do you want? Is this a good time for you to tell me about your game?
Sure. Where is this going?
Live.
Live?
We're on the internet.
Oh, I see.
Is this a top secret project?
No, it's not.
If later I'm going to do more live stream at the table, if you want to bring it over and talk about it, we're just promoting all the indie games that are here.
Yeah,
but if it's top secret, you don't have to share it.
Top secret.
Okay.
But I was just curious where things are going.
It's on Gamecrafters Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube right now.
Okay.
So, you know, we have an effective audience of like 250,000 people. It's no big deal. Most of them don't tune into the live stream though, because it's always on the cuff. You know, I'm always like, yeah, we should live stream at Protospiel. Everybody else is watching a football game right now. You know, but we're glad those of you who are watching are here though, and we're just making this content so anybody can have it or watch it. I think I've been through most of the tables here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close off the live stream. I'll try to get some more designers tonight that all want to sit down at the table and show us their games. And hopefully there's quite a few more here that have games to show you. Thanks for tuning in. And see you soon. It's Swear Jar.